The scale of Queensland's floods was unprecedented. 80% of the state, an area the size of France and Germany combined, was declared a state of emergency, with 2.5 million people affected. 33 people were killed. 3 more are still missing. Just over a year later, a 700-page report describes how Queensland, a state more accustomed to drought than flood, was taken by surprise. Although the response was prompt, it was far from perfect.
This commission has tested the evidence, in some cases more than once, and what they've done is make recommendations that I don't think have shied away in any way or shape or form from the tough questions and the tough issues. Queenslanders were entitled to these answers. I wanted them to have the truth. Now they've got it.
Singled out for criticism in the report is the emergency centre call operator who failed to take seriously a woman stranded in her car on a flooded road. Rather than get an emergency team to her, she was asked repeatedly why she'd driven into the water in the first place. No help was sent. Both the woman and her son drowned. The report details other deaths, including people whose houses were swept away by an inland tsunami. Badly affected was Australia's third biggest city, Brisbane. Did it have to be? Its flooding was due to emergency releases of water from this reservoir when it was already at capacity, but water was still pouring in. The reservoir was supposed to be managed according to a manual, with smaller quantities of water released earlier to avoid a huge amount in one go. But the manual wasn't followed, says the report. 3 engineers who claimed at the flood inquiry that it was may now face criminal charges. After more than a decade of drought, Queensland was unprepared for the floods that hit last year. But climate change could be making such extremes more frequent. There have already been floods in other parts of Australia this year too. That's why this report will be pored over not just by people in Brisbane, but right across Australia. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Sydney.